Welcome in one and all to The Future is Female. I, of course, am your host, Gabby Ducharme, joined every single week, as always, by my co-host, Nicole Pinter. Nicole, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. It's getting darker here and I don't like it. And colder.
Yeah, I don't think any of us enjoy that. It's about 85 tonight, probably in Phoenix. So take what you will from that. I know you're probably kind of jealous, but
That's rude. It's 44 here.
cute. Cute. Oh, we love as the temperature drops. Means the seasons are changing. It means the holidays are coming. It also means that as the temperature gets lower, NFL football gets hotter. Segueing right into it, of course, people. We're going to start off with Nicole's probably favorite segment on this show, Bears Corner, where we get to break down the Chicago Bears week in and week out. Nicole's you got the background and everything. You can't see it on the radio, folks, but she's got the Chicago Bears background. Her Bears are absolutely rolling. Nicole, what's the latest?
Well, Bears moved to 5-1 this past Sunday, beating Carolina, and Teddy Bridgewater, who the Bears were reportedly maybe making a move on this season, ended up trading for Nick Foles. So I was really hoping Nick Foles would outplay him. Turns out both teams just didn't have an offense, which works too. That's fine. They beat Carolina 23-16. Not a pretty game offensively. Nagy tried to get cute way too many times. His play calling bugs me. It really brings down the team, but the defense is still dominant and continually bails out Nagy. But all in all, the Bears still look really good. I mean, that defense looks amazing. When the offense is rolling, it's rolling with Nick Foles. He was 23-39, one touchdown, one really bad pick. The problem was there's only 63 total rushing yards. David Montgomery had 58 of that. A lot of positives, but 5-1, and this team still hasn't even hit its peak.
That's the crazy part. The fact that they are 5-1 right now, and you're saying their head coach doesn't even know how to call plays on their offense. So, can you just break it down? Is Nagy on the hot seat, or is he just getting bailed out by a great Bears team this year?
He's getting bailed out by a heck of a defense. Save myself there. Yeah, the defense is stellar. Statistically, it might not look like it's better than the 2018 defense, but right now it is, or it's on track to be. That defense is incredible. One of the best edge rushes in the game, the best front seven. And they're going to need it. When this offense gets rolling, this team could be so good. I just don't want Nagy's play calling to hold it back.
Right. And we're going to hope that the Bears, of course, do continue rolling.
Next Monday night at the Rams. So that will be a good test. Nick Foles going up against Aaron Donald. And a pretty good Rams defense. So, the defense can stop Jared Goff. I'm not really worried about that.
Right.
Can Nick Foles get past Aaron Donald? Can he avoid Aaron Donald? We'll see.
We'll see what version of Nick Foles the team gets next week. And
exactly.
Only Monday will be able to kind of tell us that. Of course, the Bears are rolling on one end, and on another end, a rookie quarterback has now taken over the starting spot for the Miami Dolphins. Of course, I am talking about the infamous Alabama native Tua Tagovailoa. He takes over Ryan Fitzpatrick's spot as the starter for the Miami Dolphins, their starting quarterback. Nicole, what do you think went into this decision?
Honestly, this kind of came out of nowhere to me. Going into a bye week, which has been pushed way up because of COVID and all the schedule changes. They weren't supposed to have a bye until way later in the season. I guess not that much later. We're already at week 7. But I think this team is now 3-3, and Brian Flores feels like Tua can take him to that next level. They're second in the AFC East. They're in the running for the AFC East. Right. Bills have dropped 2. Patriots just dropped to the Broncos. Dolphins can make the playoffs, and they feel like Tua is the guy to get it done moving forward. Fitzpatrick, or Fitzmagic, of course, the Harvard grad, he did not shy away from how upset he was at this decision. Great guy, super understanding. He said, quote, he's been benched all kinds of different ways, but this was the first kind of place other than Buffalo that I've been fully committed and invested. I felt like it was my team. I was genuinely sad for him. He's such a great guy. He's so fun. And he was playing so well too. So it wasn't like he got benched because he was playing bad.
Right.
Typical Fitzmagic, he was still humorous about it all though. Quote, I basically got fired yesterday and my day today consisted of Zoom meetings with the guy who fired me and sitting in a room with the guy who replaced me for 4 hours. I love Fitzmagic. He's such a great guy. I wish him the best. I hope we didn't see the last of him.
In a league full of fake people left and right, he is real. In a world full of fake people, he is real. And of course, this brings up kind of a bigger argument, I feel like, where is the veteran quarterback just not as wanted anymore? You know what I mean? Like if you're going for a veteran guy like Fitzmagic, or you're taking a risk on a rookie, 20 years ago in the NFL, I feel like that wouldn't have happened. I feel like a rookie wouldn't have just replaced a young guy like nobody's business right off the bat. Like I feel like 20 years ago, guys were waiting their turn. They were having to wait their turn. Now, all of a sudden, waiting your turn is 5 or 6 games, not 3 or 4 years. So I guess it brings up this entire other argument of, is the average veteran quarterback no longer a viable option in the league? Is it either you want to be at the very top with Tom Brady and Drew Brees, or do you want to just be building with someone like Tua Tagovailoa or
Justin Herbert? Yeah. You do bring up a good point with rookies getting to the league faster, it seems. But I love Fitzpatrick, but he is a perennial backup. He is sort of a bridge quarterback. I don't think you're going to make a deep playoff run with him.
Right.
But he can get you in position to be there. I think he can put you in position to be where you want to be as a team. And we saw it the past few weeks. I mean, they dominated the 49ers. It's a young secondary and defense in San Francisco, but it was a blowout. So coming off of that and then a cupcake like the Jets, yeah, it is a little surprising, but this was always the plan, and Fitzpatrick knew that. So going to Tua, I think right now, off the bye week, it's starting him off against the Rams and Aaron Donald. And, like, both him and Alex Smith come back from these not-so-great leg injuries to face Aaron Donald. Is just – it feels kind of mean.
Yeah.
But it will be good practice for Tua. And like I said, they're in a position to win the AFC East. And if they feel like Tua's the guy moving forward, then he is, and now's a better time to start him. They're sitting at 500, right. Great position. And I love Brian Flores as a coach. So, I trust him. I'm very interested to watch the Dolphins the rest of the way forward.
Yeah, of course. And on one end, we have a team like the Miami Dolphins that they have their future locked. Their quarterback once was injured while he was in college. Now he seems to be healthy. He's getting the keys to the kingdom. But transitioning, though, from one franchise that's on kind of the up and up right now with the chance to go to the postseason to another franchise, the Dallas Cowboys, with a quarterback who just sustained a massive injury this week and who is, well, on the downward trend. Nicole, let's break it down. What is going on with the dumpster fire Dallas Cowboys at the moment?
Who knows? Somehow they're sitting at somehow they're sitting in first in the NFC East. Like, it's hard, but still. Now I think what we're seeing from this horrific loss the Cowboys just had to Arizona is that Dak hid all the dumpster fires because he was just so good that you could look past it and be like, oh, but Dak, he's just so good. He hides all of those. Well, now discontent is starting to leak out. I think there's a disaster in Dallas. Oh, my God. NFL Network reports players saying coaches are, quote, totally unprepared. They don't teach. They don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly. And others said just downright they aren't good at their jobs.
That's cute.
Pretty incredible stuff coming out from Dallas right now. This is McCarthy's first year in a 5-year contract. Not going too well. Listen, I feel like people do this every year where everyone's like, oh, Dallas, this is the year. They'll do it with their talent this year because they've always had massive talent and they've always wasted it away. Why did everyone predict the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl in the beginning of the season? I saw it everywhere on Twitter. Why? We knew this was what was going to happen. Everyone's like, oh, they've been mediocre for the past year. They've been mediocre since like 2008. They have been 8-8 consistently since 2008, maybe even before then. I don't even know. Like, this is who they are. This is who they've been, and just a change at the head coaching position isn't going to change it, especially with a guy like McCarthy who had trouble in Green Bay. Now, take all that for what you will. Maybe some of it's true and some of it's not.
Right.
But there were definitely problems between him and Aaron Rodgers and that team. And details aside, you can't hide that.
Well, here's my one thing about the Dallas Cowboys. I see them as they're the glitz and the glam of NFL football. They are the richest professional sports team in all of North America. There is not a professional sports team that has more money to their name than the Dallas Cowboys. The fact that you can't put together a winning team on the field, I think more so speaks to the people up in the front office than it even does to the athletes on the field. Because if you have the amount of talent that a team like this has, and you have a pretty decent quarterback like Dak Prescott, you should be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. You just should. But a team like that, it just goes to show, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much power you feel you have, if you cannot execute when it matters most, it doesn't matter. The money, the power, the glitz and the glam, it all gets trashed away on game day when it's 11 on 11 and you each got to just score more points than the other person.
I totally agree with you. Jerry Jones' ego gets in the way so often. How many, he's always been this way. He's a great owner. He brought the Cowboys back way back when before you and I were even born.
Right.
But here this is a league of what have you done for me lately? Jerry Jones hasn't done a lot for anyone lately. And I know Cowboys fans are fed up with it. As annoying as they are, I know they're fed up with it.
Right.
Because you'll never hear the end of it. But, like you have written here, couldn't get a deal done with Dak. Now, say what you will about that, too. They offered him less. Dak wanted more. Should Dak have taken it? Yeah, well, he bet on himself. And I love that he bet on himself. But this is why so many players hate the franchise tag and why so many people are going after Jerry Jones's head. So
take what you will from the Dallas Cowboys messing up this last offseason. There's been so much transition with that franchise, but there's been even more significant transitions, of course, with the Washington football team, formerly known, of course, as the Washington Redskins. They dropped that mascot name in the wake of essentially the name being one of the most racist names for a franchise that you could ever have.
Incredibly derogatory, yeah.
Incredibly derogatory. They should have tossed out the name 10 years ago. I don't care.
Dan Snyder would have rather died than do that, but yeah, I agree with you.
I know. And my biggest thing with this is tradition should not stop change. Tradition should fuel change. And in the case of the Washington football team, tradition stopped change in that organization, and they missed it. They missed badly. They changed the name far too late. They changed it out of pure pressure. They didn't actually want to change it. They had sponsors pulling out left and right. And at the end of the day, it came down to a dollars and cents decision rather than it being just the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do to change that name the moment somebody said, hey, that's offensive. That's offensive towards a people who were absolutely slaughtered when this country was first established, who were essentially a part of one of the most massive genocides in history that just goes untalked about because it was Native American people who it happened to. and there was no one who actually lived to tell those people's stories.
Yeah, this wasn't our country first.
Right.
Columbus did not. No. No. That's why it was Indigenous Peoples Day, not Columbus Day. To transition, though, you're probably wondering why we brought up the Washington football team. Well, they still can't come up with a name. They're likely to remain the Washington football team in 2021. A lot of ideas have been brought up. A lot of people have trademarked them away from Washington, so that's kind of funny. They're trying to get those back, get ideas. I mean, the uniforms have grown on me. They're so simple. I kind of like it. The color combination is good. It's just funny that they don't have a name. I think that's just always going to be the joke, and it's always going to be it's always going to be a good joke. So they're not doing half bad though. However, Julia Sorgi, as we like to talk about every week, our locale of the week. Some of you will get that reference. As always, the New York Jets. Jets currently have the worst record in the NFL. They still haven't won a game. Likely to have the number 1 pick in the draft. I don't think anyone's stopping them, especially as long as Gase is there. What should Trevor Lawrence do? So this comes up because, excuse me, oh my God, former NFL star wideout Roddy White is telling Trevor Lawrence to not go. People are saying, pull an Eli Manning, just refuse to go there, refuse to go to San Diego, go to New York. In this case, he would be refusing to go to New York and maybe go somewhere else.
Right.
I'll take him in Chicago any day. But
y'all gotta be like 1-5 right now, not 5-1 if you want Trevor Lawrence. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, I know. But real quick, Gabby, what should Trevor Lawrence do? Should he stay another year if the Jets have the number 1 pick, or should he go do an Eli Manning, or should he just try to turn the Jets around?
If I'm him, I'd probably stay another year in school, but that's just because I love college. I get it that there's a lot of money on the line for him if he doesn't go. Because the other risk he's taking if he doesn't go is the New York Jets just suck again next year and get him and pick him. That's a very real possibility based on the tradition of this butt-fumbling franchise. Should I say
they have a butt interception now. They've updated.
Julia, how? Just how? How do you go through every day doing this, putting up with this team? I don't know how you do it. Anyways,
the Mets.
Oof. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'd honestly stay another year in school. Go win another national title. Go live out your dream. Go be a winner for one more year. You're gonna have plenty of years losing in the league. You might as well enjoy being a winner for a little bit longer.
Yeesh. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll get back to that in April when the draft comes. Okay, so real quick before we move on, Antonio Brown. This was just announced Wednesday. Suspension eligible to end after week 8. Serving his 8-game suspension. The Seahawks are now positioned to make a push to sign Brown, other teams as well.
Right.
We'll follow this as things develop. Moving on real quick, MLB, the NLCS and ALCS wrapped up. Atlanta blew a 3-1 lead. I'm so sorry you have to go through this time and time again, Atlanta and the state of Georgia. The Rays hold on to top the Astros, who were trying to come back from a 3-0 lead. A little different. Glad they held on to that. The Dodgers dominated the Rays in Game 1, 8-3. Kershaw was incredible. Maybe got rid of that playoff Kershaw thing around him. Probably not. It'll always be playoff Kershaw. But 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, and only 1 batter walked. Currently, so we're recording this on a Wednesday night. Currently, the Rays have a 3-0 lead, top of the 5th. We'll see how that goes. So, before this airs, we're missing 2 games. So, look at the thing they did in the lead they have. One of these teams will have a lead by then. So, anyway.
Yeah, we love this is what happens when we work remotely for the semester, but we do what we do. And of course, is this the year that the Dodgers curse ends, Nicole?
I hope not, man. I don't need LA getting another one. I said this in the first show, I believe. I'm actively rooting for a Tampa trilogy here with the Rays, Lightning, I'm so bad, and the Bucks. I'm actively rooting for it. The Bucks will see. If they face the Bears in the playoffs, that might change.
Okay.
But go Rays.
Did you
Go Rays.
Did you see this, like, there's this chart that Tyler Henry posted on his Twitter?
Yes.
Like, all the years that Tom Brady has lived in a particular city, and every single year he's lived in that city's won a championship.
That's incredible.
Since he was born in 1978.
Tom Brady's amazing. Can he come back to Detroit, please? Not the Lions. Just live in Ann Arbor. Don't go to the Lions, please. Don't do that to me.
Yeah. And
speaking,
of course, you mentioned it. Ann Arbor, college football town. College football is back this weekend for the Big Ten Conference. Nicole, what can we expect from your men in blue at the University of Michigan?
Hopefully big things. That's the goal. Michigan faces Minnesota in first game in the shortened season. This is Joe Milton's first start. He threw, I think, like one touchdown against Rutgers last year. This is his first start. Snowy and cold night game in Minnesota. Minnesota fans are like, oh, we got this. It's snowy and cold. They'll be running the other way. We'll be fine. It's cold in Michigan, too. It snows a lot in Michigan, too. What do you think? They're like, they don't know? What? So this should be fun. I honestly don't have predictions for this season. The bottom feeder game, Michigan State and Rutgers, that'll be fun for me to see who's worse. Go Rutgers. The Nebraska hate tour starts for the Big Ten as they face Ohio State in their first game. Honestly, I hate Ohio State. But if they win this game by 80 or 100, I'm going to laugh so hard because Nebraska was saying they were going to move conferences. They were going to do all this jazz because, the Big Ten doesn't want to play. It's funny to me. So if Nebraska doesn't win a game at all this year and with Scott Frost, let's do it. Let's do it. Every team beat Nebraska.
Nicole, to be clear, usually it's like if you have a favorite team, say your favorite team's Michigan, your second favorite team should always be the person playing against Ohio State or the team.
Oh, yeah. It will be even funnier if Nebraska wins because they're projected to be so bad. This is a win-win situation for me. I am laughing either way, but people are saying Ohio State is supposed to be really, really good, so I am scared. So we'll see. We will see what we see from Justin Fields this week. Well,
next week, be sure to tune in because we'll have some type of reaction from Nicole on Michigan football as we do every single week on this show. And, of course, in other news, NBA is still alive and well with basically hiring new coaches. The Pelicans, that's the biggie today. The Pelicans just hired Stan Van Gundy as their head coach. And I see a lot of similarities with Van Gundy coaching Zion Williamson, this young 19-year-old kid for the New Orleans Pelicans, like he did with Dwight Howard back in the heyday, back in Dwight's stint with the Orlando Magic. I see a lot of similarities between the two in which Van Gundy can really make an impact on a young player and really start fighting for his guys in a huge way. I think he's going to teach Zion really how to play the game. So I think that was a really good pickup by the Pelicans. And then, of course, the Indiana Pacers also hired a new head coach. He's a former Raptors assistant. His name is Nate Jorkin. And frankly, I don't know much about Nate Jorkin, but I do know that he definitely did coach like a championship level team and everything like that. He sounds like it. I'm guessing he's essentially a young guy on this team that's going to be leading them. I mean, I don't know, Nicole, what do you think of these moves that the NBA has made?
They're so interesting to me. I've never even heard of this Raptors assistant, but Nick Nurse is a Raptors coach, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was second guessing myself. His coaching tree begins here, so that's really fun. Stan Van Gundy's an interesting one as well, especially for the Pelicans. So, and like you said with Zion, so everything now is geared towards Zion, no doubt. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting NBA offseason. It's also gonna be interesting to see how long that offseason lasts. But of course, in other news, ESPNW had their annual Women in Sports Summit this past week. I did tune in for just a little bit of it. It was, of course, I was following it like nobody's business on social media and everything. But being a college student, mid-semester, your life gets very busy and you can't sit on your computer. just watching inspiring women talk, as much as I wish I could just do that all day. I did it a lot during quarantine. But it's inspired me to ask you, Nicole, who's one woman in sports media that inspires you day in and day out?
Honestly, it's Mina Kimes. She's my favorite, and to me, she's the best personality ESPN has. Yes, Stephen A. too, but he, she, every time on Twitter, like, you comment the queen, you best not miss. She's always so good. She's always bringing out the stats on NFL Live, much to the chagrin of Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears. So yeah, she's awesome. Also, here's my dog.
Puppy dog. We love work from home life.
Oh yes. Also, shout out to Mina Kimes' dog Lenny. Lenny is awesome as well. So Mina Kimes for me.
I think if I'm picking one woman like in sports media and everything like that, I would definitely have to go with Sarah Spain, who we talked to freshman year. Sarah was just so chill about how she kind of approaches life, and she was just about as chill as Nicole's dog is right here on the screen, y'all. We love it when the pups just want to get in on the action on our radio show. It's a good time. Yeah, in all honesty, I got to go with Sarah Spain just because of how inspiring her story is, and how she didn't even really want to do sports journalism. She just kind of worked her way up from there. And of course, like, when you're talking about women in sports media and you're talking about making major changes, we're actually going to implement something new on this show starting next week. We're teasing it right now. Just to end things off, it's going to be called Future Fantasies. So this segment will essentially be at the end of each show, or at least at the end of a couple of shows, Nicole and I will come up with one thing that we want to change in sports, whether it be sports media or directly in sports, whether it has to do with something like the NCAA paying athletes, or, I don't know, equal pay for WNBA and NBA players. We will present one problem, and then we'll present some type of solution to it. We will present our fantasy for the future in that particular sport. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a great one. And of course, to end things off this evening, thank you all so much for joining us. I, of course, am your host, Gabby Ducharme, for Nicole Pinter. We are The Future is Female. Everyone, please tune in again next week. Until then, please stay safe and stay happy.